What is going on? Folks, what in the sky is happening? Holy Bahamut, what is this? I have so many questions. But at the same time, this confusion is paired with a sense of curiosity and excitement I haven't felt in Granblue in such a long time. Hi, I'm Ducky, and today I wanted to talk about the end of October story event, Monscian Act 1, an event that has nothing to do with Halloween, but surely spooked a lot of people. Culinary and freaks, after the intro. There is so much to talk about, so let's get straight into it. This event was marketed as Act 1. This means that they planned in advance for this to be a multiple part narrative. I, of course, was skeptical. The last time they did a funny Event Part X joke was in The May Days. And I guess Full Metal Man 7 also counts. But in both cases, the event itself was a full event with a starting point and an ending point. Some loose ends for sequel bait, of course, but it was a closed narrative. But if you have read Monscian Act 1, you know that is not what happened this time. This is most definitely an Act 1, and we need more. This is not the first time they do this. There are two, technically four, events from 2014 that did the same thing. The Cowardly Hero and the Captive Princess, and Priestess of the Dunes. Both were originally released as two separate parts, one after the other, each with the duration of a full event. Of course, this is 2014 Granblue, so it was bad. And I honestly don't remember them doing this ever since, so it's pretty much a brand new take on story events. Do you folks read light novels? I'm a big light novel guy, so let me go on a tangent here for a second. I guess this works for some manga too. Light novels have a very spaced out release cadence. The faster ones release a new volume every 3 or so months, while the slower ones could go entire years without new volumes. And because of that, most light novel volumes need to have two different narratives within themselves. Big scale narrative and the small focused narrative. Every volume needs a climax, something that will keep the reader engaged and entertained. You cannot really just build up for the great review at the end of the series, because your next volume is literally months away. At the same time, you want to create a narrative that will follow the series forward, because you want to have plot hooks for more volumes. So, every time you read a light novel volume, you can easily see that the main plot moves forward a bit, and that happens because of a smaller scale conflict that was the actual focus of the volume itself. And why I'm talking about this? Because this Granblue event was written in an extremely light novel-esque way. This was the first volume of the Monscian light novel, where we focused on setting the world building while not solving the issue at all. And the climax of the narrative was a relatively small win for the good guys, but that moves the plot forward. On the other hand, did you notice how awkwardly short this event was? There is so little text in most of the chapters that I'm sure they could have fit the entire event into 3 regular-sided chapters if they wanted. Maybe this event was not supposed to be a multiple part saga to begin with. Why would you split your narrative into multiple events if you are not using even half of your allocated text space? My personal conspiracy theory about this is that maybe the event ended up being a bit too long, and as such, they decided to split it into 2. So, they spaced out the first half of the event into 6 chapters. It's just another topic that we might never learn the truth about. And I cannot really believe that this event was just made super short on purpose. This is actually a very high quality, well written and resource intensive event. There are so many new characters, new generic NPC sprites, new combat animations and effects, and so much lore research. For example, before the event began, Twitter user Meganezumi pointed out how Dante had this weird eye thing on his rare version art. The very same eye that is seen in pretty much the entire iconography around the event and the island of Agartha. And in a reply, user Kazuko0310 showed a mushroom monster with that very same eye pattern. And now we know it is definitely connected, since the humans of Agartha survived and gained supernatural powers by eating monster meat. Another point is how, just a few days before the event, we got Ariette's 5-star cap. It in itself was kind of a letdown, like explained in last week's video, but it does mention an enforcer by the name of McCoy. He's the one who helped Ariette get her hands on the music sheet she needed, and McCoy showed himself for the first time in the event. It's a nice continuity detail that was definitely planned. The event left us with so many unanswered questions, but this feels exciting and not annoying. I talked at length on how having too many questions can get bad real fast when discussing the Dragon Knights on this other video. And you know what is different this time? The context. This is a brand new event setting, so having questions unanswered is normal. And having this many doesn't feel alienating because we are already promised a sequel by default, one that will follow on the exact same plot threads as the first one. These 2 points are not true for the Dragon Knights. What exactly is the Dead Sky? What effects did it have on the entire ecosystem of the island? Why are there only humans in Agartha? What is the real story behind the call for help that seemed to be ignored by the nearby islands? What terrible atrocities happened in this apocalyptic setting before the establishment of a military, ultra-authoritarian government? How does the Monscian power work? What is a Monscian? What exactly does this promised destiny they talk about entails? Do they have a secret weapon or plan on how to tackle the entirety of the Sky Realm by themselves, like theorized by Monica at the end? What's the deal with the fixation on the Blue Knight and his daughter? Who among the expedition team could have information about the society to even spill the beans about them to the Agarthians? Why does Kyo have blue hair? Just to mention a few. These questions are cool because we know for sure they are getting answered soon. But that is another point of discussion. When is soon? This is Act 1, meaning we are getting at least Act 2 sometime. But when? Long-term narratives done through events aren't new. The Dragon Knights get a new event every year. Multiple plot lines have 2, 3, 4 events telling their tale. So, could they make us wait an entire year for a continuation? It's possible, but that would suck. Waiting an entire year for a new light novel volume is an extremely frustrating experience. But also, November's schedule just got announced, and due to the Slime collab, we are not getting an event rerun, nor a new character uncap. These things usually help guide us on what exactly they are planning to do with the new story event at the end of the month, meaning that November is an empty month. This is the perfect opportunity to simply follow up with Monscian Act 2. Since Act 1 ended with the crew of enforcers establishing a forward base on the north side of Agartha, we could even see a real-time advance of the plot, with Act 2 starting exactly 1 month after the events of Act 1. Not only this would be extremely cool, there is also nothing stopping them from doing it, since both SSR Will and New Wind Lycia's Fate episodes are completely unrelated to Monscian. It's not every day that an entire new island reveals itself to the world, and this development is something the writing team created to allow themselves to go wild on new stuff. Everything is brand new, everything can defy logic and our pre-existing ideas and concepts. And while yes, this is very sudden, and the very short text worries me a bit, this is overall a positive experience. The writing team is cooking, and despite some recent blunders, I have total trust in them, and what they delivered seems solid enough. So, let them cook. It's honestly funny how the cliffhanger of Lord Rivera is missing was more impactful than the Wales has fallen one from the Lion's Tears. I could keep talking about all the little details and theories I have, but for now let's stop it here. I bet this video is already long enough, and we can always discuss more during Act 2. So that's it for this video, thank you all for watching. What did you think about the event? And what are your expectations for the future? Let me know in the comments. I am very excited, if you couldn't tell by now. Anyway, this was Ducky, and I'll see you all later.